Welcome to Time to Talk. I'm Argie Holliman, and we're so glad that you could join us once again today. It's been a while since we've been here, been quite under the weather, but thank God for His goodness, grace and mercy and healing. And I think I'm pretty much on the other side of that now. And today we're going to celebrate. We are going to celebrate Kwanza in plenty of time. It's not quite time for Kwanza yet, but we're going to let you know what to do and how to do it. And our special guest is West Michigan Jewels of Africa. And let's start with them now.
Can we have permission from the elders in the community? Do we have permission to start our celebration today?
Permission granted.
Oh, permission is granted. Once permission is granted in the great Grand Rapids Time to Talk Community Kwanza celebration, we turn it over to our elder, Brother Elamine. And he will be presenting our next step for Kwanza.
Greetings, family. Oh, excuse me.
You okay?
In the traditions of African people, whenever we gather, whether it be birth, a transition, a wedding, community organizing, spiritual service, tradition, we pour what's called libation, giving honor to the Almighty Great Spirit and to our ancestors, those known and unknown. And what we do is we pour water, giving honor and thanks. And in that tradition, I would like to do a libation. You can follow along, and if I say something that resonates in your spirit, you can say, Ashe. So be it. Thank you. I agree. Teach. Whatever your spirit moves you with. Giving honor and thanks to the Almighty, who's known by many names, we thank you for allowing this gathering of our people. Ashe.
Ashe.
We thank you for our ancient ancestors, especially our women, who 20,000 plus years ago, 20,000 plus years ago, domesticated crops. So we no longer had to move around from place to place. So we give honor and thanks to our women.
Ashe.
We give honor and thanks to those mothers and fathers who built the foundations of civilization, somehow charted the stars of the universe. Ashe.
Ashe.
We give honor and thanks to those ancestors who created mathematics, science, politics, spirituality.
Ashe.
We give honor and thanks to those ancestors who went forward and built universities thousands and thousands of years ago so that our people could be trained to build pyramids, to build monuments, to build Hormaket, the so-called Sphinx. Honor that would show the people, the future peoples of the world, ourselves, the greatness of African people.
Ashe.
We give honor and thanks to those people who decided to move away as our populations grew from the Nile Valley and peopled other parts of the planet of Africa. Ashe.
Ashe.
We give honor and thanks to those ancestors who went south. Ashe.
Ashe.
Those ancestors who went north.
Ashe.
Those ancestors who went east.
Ashe.
Those ancestors who went west.
Ashe.
We give honor and thanks to those ancestors who went all the way to Mohenjo-Daro and Indus Kush, which is now India.
Ashe.
We give honor and thanks to those ancestors who journeyed further, all the way to the Koreas and China.
Ashe.
We give honor and thanks to those ancestors who took those traditions all the way up across the Caucasus Mountains into Europe.
Ashe.
We give honor and thanks to those ancestors who populated the South Pacific.
Ashe.
We
Ashe.
give honor and thanks to those ancestors who populated Central and South America and the Caribbean Isles.
Ashe.
Ashe.
We give honor and thanks to those ancestors who went back and re-educated, turned the lights back on after the Dark Ages in Europe.
Ashe.
We give honor and thanks to those ancestors who were captured in the Atlantic slave trade and forcibly brought to the Caribbean, Central South America, and these shores.
Ashe.
We give honor and thanks to those ancestors who chose to survive to make it possible for us to be here today.
Ashe.
We give honor and thanks to those ancestors who made a way out of no way, toil till death, raising families, keeping our traditions and spirits and hopes alive.
Ashe.
We give honor and thanks to your great-great-grandparents who made a way out of no way, found the Almighty, brought spirituality back into our lives, and we have those traditions alive today.
Ashe.
Ashe.
We give honor and thanks to those grandparents who decided they would escape from, leave the South, and find a new way, build new homes, new traditions here in the North.
Ashe.
We give honor and thanks to those ancestors who built institutions, colleges and universities in the South, taught themselves the English language so that we could use their textbooks to reteach ourselves, relearn traditions.
Ashe.
We give honor and thanks to those ancestors who came to these concrete jungles in the North, lived in so-called ghettos, still made families, and made a way out of no way.
Ashe.
We give honor and thanks to your parents for teaching you, bringing you forward as honorable men, women, so that we could build the way for our grandchildren.
Ashe.
We give honor and thanks to each and every one of you for being present, whether here or in your homes, and contributing to the uplift of our people and humanity across the world.
Ashe.
And we give honor and thanks to those yet to come, those unseen at this point, who will be our future and will lead the way into the new world, the world of 2050 and beyond. And we give honor and thanks to those spirits that they will carry on the traditions of African people. Ashe.
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 Thank you.
Now I'm going to introduce first, make sure my king gets up right. Yes. And we're going to swap here to make sure you can really hear me, even though a lot of people know Mama Jewel has a very loud voice. But I'm going to introduce our Kwanza table to you. You know, in order to do Kwanza, we do have a certain setup. And he talked about our libation. And today we have our altar presented here. And we want to make sure that you see our altar. And our altar is set up, and it is our tradition for our altar that you would bring out your books of life. Isn't that what it's called, sir? The book of life. Yes. You have a very special book of life up here today, correct? We have some of our people with us. We have brought some of our ancestors along, even though we know in the culture, you are not an ancestor till you've went how many days, sir? 45. You have to cross over 45 days at the minimum in order to be considered an ancestor. So when we call out the names for libation, and some of the names are here, we would call out, who would you call out someone? Who would you refer to? Maybe Dr. Martin Luther King, right? Marcus Garvey. We would do those things. But then we would come to our present, which would be all of our obituaries. And we have some here. We have, who do you see? I see Miss Rosie Lee Brown. I see Mr. Philip Douglass Brown. I see, oh my goodness, who do I see? I see Miss Ivory Lee Williams. I am seeing that I am remembering my queen, Sister Shahida, one of my mothers, who I love dearly. I also see Mr. William Randolph Brown and Gwendolyn. Oh my goodness, it's so many people we want to remember in our village, past, present. Oh my goodness, our ancestors. We decorate our table with our red, black, and green. We put our kanara up, correct, with the 7 candles, right? With the black one in the middle, the 3 red, and the 3 green. We also have our straw mat, our Mecca,
Ashe.
correct?
Ashe.
We would have our Mecca. We would have our first fruits of harvest. Yes, we would. We would have our ears of corn that represent every child in the family. And then you would put some, if you don't have children of your own, you would put corn on there for the community children, correct? You would have your unity cup. Your unity cup would be very special because we would all pass it and drink as one. We would also have some zwadi, which is gifts. And we always have gifts for our children. We don't buy just junk or anything, do we? We give you good gifts, right? We give you great books of education, all about our great teachers. That's what would go on our Kwanzaa table as well. And we would start it by lighting the first candle, which is the black candle, which is Emoja. But before we do that, and you've been introduced to our great Kwanzaa setup here with all of our great colors, we're gonna have you go to our Imani singers over here, and they're going to tell you about how it's time to celebrate Kwanzaa. everyone can get relaxed and just enjoy. We're going to conversate about Kwanza, correct?
Yes.
Ashe.
All right, we're going to talk a little bit about Kwanza, and our first principle would be for Kwanza,
Umoja.
Umoja. Umoja is the black candle. What are you going to tell me about Umoja? Unity?
That is the key. Coming together as one, on one accord, we can accomplish anything.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Uniting a family. When a family is close-knit as this family, they're on one accord, they can excel. They have excelled. They can achieve. When we as a community come together on one accord, just the accord that we want to do what's best for our children and grandchildren, we accelerate, we explode, we build. So unity is the key to it all. And we're united as one. We're going to continue to unite our people across this city, across this county, this state, this country, and this world. Because unity is our goal, and unity is the key.
All right, we know that our first principle is Umoja, and we would light the black candle. So we're talking about unity. Thank you so much. I'm going to bring the microphone over here for my elder so he can keep communicating with our beautiful, beautiful crowd. I'm going to let Brother Elamine also talk about our second principle.
He has a mic.
He told me to bring my microphone.
That's okay. Maybe he needs it. Okay.
No, he doesn't.
The second principle is kujichagulia. It's a tough word with a powerful meaning. It means we determine.
Kujichagulia.
Yes, kujichagulia.
Okay.
Kuji
We
Chagalia.
determine who we are,
Yes.
what we will be,
Yes.
what our children will become, what the world looks like for us. We become self-determined. And since we know that unity is the key, we determine that we're going to unite. We don't let anybody tell us we have to be divided, to be separated by the various things we separate ourselves on, groups, clubs, organizations. No, we're one. We're one people from one African root.
Yes.
And we remain determined that our unity is the key.
All right. Now we're on cooperative economics.
Ujima.
Ujima. Ujima.
We
Ujima,
work together.
where we work together. Now, West Michigan Jewels of Africa, that's what we do. We collectively work together. We work with Brother Elamine. We also work with, can you introduce yourself, community?
Yes,
Come to that mic.
My name is Bree. My name is Bree Austin Roberts, and I am just a Kwanza participant working with Miss Jewel. She's facilitating African dance for my youth group. I'm a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, right here in Grand Rapids, the Grand Rapids Alumni Chapter.
Ashe.
And she has been doing amazing work teaching our girls culture and dance.
All right, and we have many, many ways to do cooperative economics in this community. We know Bob is Black-owned businesses, so we want to look out for that. We also want to look for businesses that respect our colors, our red, black, green, and gold as well, correct? Because cooperative economics is about building our finances and our future generations' finances for ourselves. We are Kuji Chakalia, self-determining our own cooperative economics to have financial freedom, especially right here in the city of Grand Rapids with our people. So we're gonna move along to Nia, and I'm gonna have my young folks step forth for Nia purpose. I'm gonna lead them around. I'm going to have my junior step forward here. I'm gonna move my sister here so she can lean graciously and watch the future. Come forward. This is purpose. Come forward. Tell them, Brother Elamine, this is their future. This is what we live for.
Yes.
Purpose. Purpose. Right there. We're gonna ask that, only move if I ask you to move. I'm gonna have my young queen step back with her flag. We're gonna ask that the adults start participating to keep them correct. Thank you. Because this is a village, and in a village, everybody participates. No one gets away. It's not entertainment, this is the way we live, and it's what we do. So, and our purpose for our group is to make sure that they know about our great colors, know about our great shoulders that they stand upon. We were gifted these colors from Marcus Garvey, the Honorable Dr. Marcus Garvey. And we'll start it like this. Everyone, get on board. So we always get on one accord. My Pan-African flag.
My Pan-African flag.
My Pan-African flag.
My Pan-African flag.
My Pan-African flag
My Pan-African flag
is red, black, green.
is red, black, green.
You know what I mean.
You know what I mean.
My Pan-African flag.
My Pan-African flag.
My Pan-African flag.
My Pan-African flag.
My Pan-African flag
My Pan-African flag.
is red, black, green.
Red, black, green.
You know what I mean.
What I mean.
Red is for the blood. Red is for the blood.
Red for the blood.
Red is for the blood.
Red for the blood.
Red is for the blood.
Red for the blood.
Black is for the people.
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 Green is for the land.
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 Green is
Hey,
for the land.
my Pan-African flag.
My Pan-African flag.
My Pan-African flag
My Pan-African flag.
is red, black, green.
It's red, black, and green.
You know what I mean.
know what I mean.
Everything. Pan-African flag. My Pan-African flag.
My Pan-African flag.
My Pan-African flag
My Pan-African flag.
is red, black, green.
It's red, black, and green.
You know what I mean.
know what I mean.
Red is for the blood.
Red for the blood.
Red is for the blood.
Red for the blood.
The blood that my people shed. The blood that my people shed. Black is for the people. Black is for the people.
Black is for the people.
The many shades of people. The many shades of people.
Shades of people.
Pan-African flag.
Red African flag.
My Pan-African flag.
My Pan-African flag.
My Pan-African flag
My Pan-African flag.
is red, black, green.
It's red, black, and
You
green.
know what I mean.
You know what I mean.
Red is for the blood.
Red for the blood.
Red is for the blood.
Red for the blood.
Black is for the people.
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 Black is for the people. Black is for the
The
people.
many shades of people. The many shades of people. Green is for the land. Green is for the land. Green is for the land.
Green is for the land.
Green is for the land.
Green is for the land.
Green is for the land.
Green is for the land. My Pan-African flag.
It's red, black, green.
It's red, black, and green.
You know what I mean?
You know what I mean.
Ashe.
Ashe.
And when we say ashe, ashe means what?
Thank you.
Oh, is that what it means?
Amen.
Oh, wow, and it means amen.
So
it is so.
Ashe. Now,
So it
what we're
is.
reciting are the 7 principles of Kwanza.
Yep.
And the 7 principles.
Kwanza.
Crisscross applesauce, sit right here with me. Everyone can sit right here, my friends. We've been talking about the Nguzo Saba and things like that. So the 7 principles are on the Nguzo Saba, which is traditionally set upon your display, your setup, the Nguzo Saba. So next, after Nia, which is, after purpose.
Yeah, Nia's
then
purpose.
Kwanza.
creativity, Kwanza.
Kwanza.
And that's, we've seen the creativity expressed tonight.
Yes. Yes, we have. We're gonna do a little creating. What do you have for them? My drums are here and they speak a mighty language. West Michigan Jewels of Africa. We know that. Is Africa a continent or a country?
Continent.
Oh, my villagers don't know. I need you to answer.
55
Is Africa a
countries.
continent or a country?
55
I need to hear you
countries.
in the microphone. It's a continent?
Yes.
I want to make sure you know it, right? We are educational entertainers. Hold the flags up high and stand to the back of my king, queen, king. Stand behind them. Yep, stand behind them. Africa's a continent, not a country.
Africa's a continent,
not a country. Africa's a continent, not a country.
Africa's a continent, not a country.
Wait, here. We're gonna ask you to relax in the chairs. You can sit down and get yourselves a little comfortable. And we're gonna let you hear Brother Elamine tell us. My children will stay there. They will tell us. Next principle.
Faith.
Faith.
Without faith, it's tough.
Ashe.
We have to have faith first in ourselves. Faith that the Almighty didn't make a mistake in creating us. Faith that our parents made no mistake in allowing us to come to this earth. Faith that we can be all we want and desire to be, all things that are good. Faith that we can bring forth the next generation of producers. Faith that we can be great grandparents and great grandparents and continue the traditions. Faith that we can build an economic system within ourselves to lift us off the bottom of the economic ladders. Faith that our culture will bring us through. Faith that no matter what the trial, we can overcome. Our great-grandparents had it. Our grandparents had it. Our grandparents and our parents had it. And the ball is in our court. Have faith, and all things are possible.
Ashe. Ashe.
Ashe. Ashe.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Ashe.
So once you do all of that, then what is next? We know we go through all of our celebrations. We start with our black
Unity
candle, then we would start with our red, then we would go to the green, then we go back to the red, then we go to the green, then we go to the red, we finish with the green. And when we finish with that, that is the final day, and that is called the Karamu. And people live for that. And that's because that's the last day, and we all come together and we celebrate like never before. This is a time where you pull out and dust off all those dashikis you've been hiding, and you pull out all that garb, all that cultural stuff, all that power stuff, and you just sport it all week.
Ashe.
As if you are so proud to stand on your ancestors' shoulders and the work that they've contributed. That we are so proud that Kwanza started when, sir?
1965.
Wow.
67. It was in full bloom. One thing I'd like to point out is Kwanza is something we practice year round. Every day we think unity, how we can work together, how we can collectively do things. We have organizations that throughout the year, they work collectively.
Ashe.
Financially, that's the piece we're missing. We've got to figure out how to collectively pool our financial resources so that when we have great ideas, we can fund those ideas and we don't have to go outside. We handle $1 trillion nationally as a people.
That is something
If we
great to
set
know.
aside 10% in a fund for us,
So
we
you're
can do
saying
anything.
we were taught 10% in tithe paying, but we could take that same concept, bring it to the community, to your local
10%
community,
community
10%, and in a fund.
we can fund businesses, we can fund
businesses,
organizations, we can
yes.
fund Saturday schools, we can fund housing rehab, we can fund anything with those kinds of dollars.
So we
Because
have to
nobody's
have
done
that
alone.
mindset of working together.
Collective
Collective.
work
So
and
in
responsibility.
other words,
And
we have to live
cooperating
Kwanzaa,
together.
Live the
not just
principle.
celebrate it the 7 days, even though we know it is
The 7
December.
days is the
What is it,
infusion.
Miss Bree? Is December 26th correct? To what? January
1st.
All right.
That's the infusion period where we remind ourselves and then we carry it throughout the year. And at the end of the year, oh yes, look what we did collectively. Oh yes, we were unified. Oh yes, we built this. Oh yes, we had faith and these are our works. So living the 7 principles just living them day by day, individually and collectively.
Ashe.
You know, it would be good to put those 7 principles on our walls.
Absolutely.
Or on our mirrors.
The
And
refrigerators.
remind ourselves of those every day.
Yes.
Ashe.
I'm loving the discussion tonight, and I would hope too, this as a community, that we really understand the rich resource we have in this holiday of Kwanzaa. So lots of times when there are portrayals of our African American community in particular, you know, there isn't always that sense of pride. And when we think about, I think, this Kwanzaa holiday, hopefully there's a sense of pride about ourselves and about the rich legacy of our contribution to this community. So much pride that beginning today and going forward, we're gonna work harder to even better understand the Kwanzaa holiday.
Yeah.
I encounter a lot of people in our community who are still saying, "What's Kwanzaa?"
Yes.
And I heard you say this holiday began in 1965.
65.
Okay.
7 is
Six-
full bloom.
1960s, and we're still saying or encountering one another, and we don't fully understand Kwanzaa. That brings us to that self-determination principle. We have a responsibility to educate ourselves.
Yeah.
And when we educate ourselves about a lot of things, including Kwanzaa, I think we will take even greater pride in this holiday and what it means for us to live out these 7 principles
Yes, ma'am.
every day.
Yes, ma'am.
And Dr. Booker, people need to know Kwanzaa is not a black Christmas. That's not what it is.
Oh, no.
That's not what it is.
Right,
Oh,
it's not a black
I wanted to just quick ask a question about that, because a lot of people have a misconception that you can't celebrate one or the other, or, you know, it
Or
has
both.
to do with not celebrating or acknowledging Christmas, or relating it to faith. So can you maybe tell me a little bit more about the distinction between Christmas and Kwanzaa?
Oh, I'd love to do that. I am Pastor Julian Richardson. They call me the artist, Mama Jewel, and you can do it all. We all love one God. This is not a religious holiday. This is a cultural holiday. So this is a way of living, not just a basic celebration. So this is one of 4 African American holidays that the people, the ADOS, the people who are from descendants of slaves, actually created this. So we could be proud of the contributions that we have contributed to this whole world, not just to America. So we gathered up and people went back and studied Dr.
Malana Karinga.
Mulana Karinga. I don't like to say names wrong. He gathered this information and presented it to us with our colors, with all of the table settings for us to be able to celebrate, not religiously. Everyone can celebrate this, but it was specifically given to the African American people. So we would have something to hold on to have pride, to have a day of celebration. Every other ethnicity has a day to celebrate, and now we do too. And we do it graciously and with pride.
And Mama Joel, can you talk about traditionally, you know we need to really recognize Kwanzaa all year, but traditionally, the 7 days, when does it start, when does it end?
Well, traditionally, starts the day after Christmas. So it would be the 26th of December would be when you would, get really prepared, just deck your house out with as much as you can. And you would invite everyone. And one thing you would do when you greet each other, every time you see a black person,
What's
it would
the
be,
news?
and just anybody in the community, no negative speaking. You would greet them and you would call them and say, Habari Gani.
Habari Gani.
Everyone say Habari Gani.
Habari Gani.
When you say Habari Gani, you're saying, what's the news? And the news is, and it would be whatever the principle is for the day. So the first one, you would call and I'd say, Dr. Booker, Habari Gani. And you'd say,
See Jambo.
Si Jambo Umoja. Si Jamba Umoja. Yes. And then what would you do? You'd call and say what? Habari Gani.
Habari Gani.
Yes, and then what would you say?
Chakalia.
Kuji Chakalia.
Oh, second day.
All right, and that is how we would present each other. And yes, let's hear you, King.
For those who find it difficult to remember those names, Umoja, use the English translation. Unity. What's the news? Habaragani, what's the news? Unity. What's the news? Self-determination. What's the news? Collective work and responsibility. Until we decide we're going to learn the Swahili word. Because the English words are powerful and they have deep meaning. And those of us who know and have studied English, when you say collective, and then you say work, and then you add responsibility, the learned, we've got to work collectively. So, and be responsible for ourselves and our contribution to the group so that this thing flourishes.
So
Use
it's time to
use
talk.
the English terms.
Okay, so he
And-
gives us permission to use those English terms, which are
Absolutely.
there for us.
Absolutely.
Now, we know it's time to talk and it's time to celebrate
talking.
all about
It's time to
Kwanzaa.
celebrate. And what we're
Kwanzaa.
going to do right now, we're enjoying Kwanzaa. Let's celebrate what?
Kwanzaa.
Yeah. We're going to take a break, and we're going to we're celebrating Kwanzaa, but we also have like one Christmas song. We got to get that in there because we're not going to be back here for Christmas.
Yes.
So we got to get one Christmas song in, and we're going to have our director for Time to Talk, Doug Stiles, to sing that Christmas song. But we're going to take a real quick break, and then we're going to come back with more Kwanzaa. Okay, you're watching Time to Talk. We'll be right back. Oh, welcome back to Time to Talk. We're just having a good time here today. We're celebrating Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa traditionally starts December 26th, but we're not going to be here then. So we want to let you know how to do it, how to enjoy it, how to celebrate it, what it's all about. But in addition to Kwanzaa, I always like to hear this particular song. that Doug, our director for Time to Talk, does. And we want to hear just a verse of that. So this is Doug Roland Stiles.
O holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till he appeared and the soul felt its worth. The thrill of hope, the weary world rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees. Oh, hear the angel voices. Oh, night divine. Oh, night when Christ was born. Oh, night. Oh, holy night. Oh, night divine.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Thank you. All right. Now we will continue with Mama Jewel and West Michigan Jewels of Africa and Imani and His Excellency, Numo, Prime Minister, USA, no, not just USA, no, Prime Minister, USA, met with the Queen of Sheba. We're going to hear that in Black History Month, the whole story and saga and journey. But we're so glad you're here,
Thank you.
Brother Elamine. And now we're back to Mama Jill.
Oh, yes, that was just beautiful.
Yes,
You
it
wanna make
was.
sure you utilize all the music during this time of Kwanzaa.
Yes.
We pull in our music. You should be playing your music in the house, all in your car. You're setting the atmosphere everywhere you go for the great, great celebration of Kwanzaa. Now, that brings me to think about where can you go right here in the city of Grand Rapids for a Kwanzaa celebration? Do any of you community leaders here and participants know any place to go other than we know West Michigan Jewels of Africa will be having a community Kwanzaa concert 2019, Kwanzaa I Am at St. Mary's Temple of Peace on the 26th, which is kicking off the week of the great, great celebration. You know what? We're actually having it at the Pastor White. She is one of the longest, legendary he called her. She is one of the eldest, longest female African-American pastors here right in the city of Grand Rapids. And she has honored us by allowing us to bring this non-religious cultural holiday right into the churches for everyone to celebrate, for everyone to learn about all of that history that's in that King James Bible. That's what you need. So we know that, and we'll present it to you right at the Kwanzaa concert, and you can look for that flyer and find out more information. But Brother Elamine, I go to one with you often, don't I?
Well, I want to know the time
Oh, the time of
And does
mine.
it cost
and the
anything?
location.
Well, ours is a fundraising concert. We actually bring it every 2 years, and it's done by the African Drum and Dance Parent Association under the leadership of the great renowned Baba Kevin Collins. He comes here with the Kungana African Drum and Dance Group, and we give a phenomenal Kwanza I Am presentation, traditional African drum and dance concert that is participatory and educational at the same time. It is a donation suggested, but not definitely required. And we also like you to know that we have a holiday market that is available there. It starts at 5 p.m. for the market. The concert starts at 7, and the event goes till 9 at night. And it is followed with a tremendously great signature soul food dinner that is prepared for you to go to take with you. And you know, Grand Rapids has a signature thing here, right? We know Grand Rapids is known for turkey knuckles. Do y'all, any of y'all know anything you know about them turkey knuckles?
I defer.
You defer.
I don't do flesh.
He doesn't do flesh. Anybody who know about, some of them do the flesh. And it has been a well-known signature piece. You can't even get
Yes.
turkey knuckles all over the
No.
world. It is very well known in Michigan. So I do a signature turkey knuckle soul food dinner that day. But other than that, it goes till 9 at night. And it is phenomenal. We take donations. We're looking for volunteers. But there are many throughout the city of Grand Rapids. There is one at Life Quest, and
They'll be there
1 week long this year,
all
right?
7 days.
All 7 days.
at Life Quest.
Life Quest,
Fisk and what's that?
Fisk
Neyland?
and Neyland.
Neyland,
And
yes.
it will be from 6 to 8 p.m. each night, all 7 days. But we have been blessed to have other people stand up and host in Grand Rapids, host other Kwanzaa events. Tell us, Ms.
The
Bree.
Deltas.
So yes, so the Grand Rapids Alumni Chapter. of Delta-
We're going to give you the mic.
Sorry. The Grand Rapids Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta, we will be hosting our annual community Kwanzaa as well, right here in the Grand Rapids community. The date is going to be it's a Friday, December 27th, and it's going to be at the First Community AME Church from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Ashe.
And is that free?
It is open to the community and it does not cost anything, and I'm working on a nice menu to put together as well.
Is it an age? Any
There's
age?
no age. Bring your
Okay,
children, bring
wonderful.
your grandmother.
Okay.
Bring your
And
neighbor.
is there a website where people can go to look
There
and
is.
follow all the dates?
You can go to, I think, our Facebook page, GRAC Deltas, Grand Rapids Alumni Chapter Deltas, and you can register there online via Eventbrite, so we can have an accurate number of who to expect.
Ashe.
And this is open to the entire community.
It's open to the
All
entire
of them.
community. It is for us to showcase who we are as a great, great people, but it is for everyone to participate in. You should come and you should learn so you can learn more. You can also go to www.westmichiganjewelsofafrica.wmjoa.org to find out more information. We also have a web page, a Facebook page, West Michigan Jewels of Africa. And we also have a Kwanzaa event page, Grand Rapids Community Kwanzaa 2019. And we are collectively listing all the Kwanzaa celebrations that we can find out throughout the city. So if you have one, please call and contact us. If you want to volunteer and participate, please let us know. Also, like Bree said earlier, we have our Community African Drum and Dance class, which West Michigan Jewels of Africa hosts every Tuesday at the Baxter Community Center. So if you want to learn how to live the way that we should have been living, or the way that you may choose to adapt back to the original way, you can come right there to the Baxter Community Center and learn about bringing Black history to life, bringing the true traditional African culture into your home and spreading it around the world. It is time to talk. It's
That's right.
Kwanzaa.
So,
I was gonna say too, the Grand Rapids African
Put the
I need that
microphone.
microphone.
It's a
Oh yes, that Grand Rapids African American
Yeah.
Museum will be hosting on Sunday.
And there's an event
day or two.
tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Thursday,
Yeah.
Thursday, December 12th, at the Grand Rapids
yes.
African American Museum with George Byer on Monroe, 87
Yes.
Monroe Center. And it's a free event, and there's hors d'oeuvres and
I'm
a
telling
chance
you-
to network. And they're also talking about the Harriet Tubman stamp.
Yes.
I want to thank you, Mama Jewel, Imani, all our drummers, all our participants,
Thank you.
everybody in the studio. As we get ready to end, what are you going to end with?
It's Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa. Let's celebrate. Let's celebrate. It's Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa, let's celebrate. Come on, let's celebrate. It's Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa, let's celebrate. Let's celebrate. It's Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa, let's celebrate. Come on, let's celebrate. It's Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa, let's celebrate. Let's celebrate. It's Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa, let's celebrate. Come on, let's celebrate. Come on, let's celebrate. Come on, let's celebrate.
Yeah.